and we record them so we can put them up on Facebook and YouTube after, so those who weren't able to join us can still get the information. So this is being recorded. Don't do anything too crazy unless you're okay with it being on the internet forever. So with that, since Rep. Morgan already welcomed everybody, tonight's going to be a little, we weren't supposed to have a guest speaker, but I attended a meeting last night and I wanted to give you all an update on that. So I'll do my regular announcements, and then if it's okay with Rep, I'll jump into that. So as far as regular announcements, nothing too crazy. You guys already know about all the places you can get food with El Pasoans Fighting Hunger and the different locations throughout the Northeast. We have 7 in Northeast. They're all outlined in our newsletter, so you can find all the information there. I won't read them out to you because last time it took a while to do that, but if you need that information, it's in our newsletter, or you can give us a call and we're happy to give you that information. Another announcement tomorrow is our blood drive that we've been talking about for a couple weeks now. So we're hosting a blood drive in Rep. Morgan's name. Our community is in desperate need of blood, and so this is just kind of a way for us to help that cause out. So if you guys, I know some of you on here have already signed up, so thank you so much for doing that. We'll see you out there tomorrow. If you have not signed up and would like to donate blood, you can just show up. You can walk up. We'll be at Northeast Bible Restoration Church, which is located at 4925 Fairbanks. We'll be there tomorrow from 1 to 5. You can make an appointment, but you don't have to. If you want to just walk up, they'll be able to accommodate you as well. I was just told today that Vitalant is going to be providing T-shirts to everybody who donates. But on top of that, our office has also put together some little goodie bags for everyone. And I'm not trying to entice you to come donate blood, but I don't know if you guys can see this. We were able to get these masks. They say EP Texas and they have the Winterfest logo. So everyone that donates blood tomorrow, up to 25 people because we only have 25, but the first 25 to donate blood will get one of these EP Texas masks. So I'm not trying to convince you, I'm just saying.
She's been hanging around politicians too long.
So please, if you guys can or have the time, please come out. We're also going to give you a little goodie bag that has some other things in it, but you'll have to come donate blood to see what else is in it. So please, tomorrow from 1 to 5, if you can, 4925 Fairbanks, 1 to 5, to come give blood. The rep will be there. I'll be there. And yeah, somebody put something in the chat. So let me see what that says. If you were stationed in Germany in the 80s during the mad cow disease scare, can you donate blood? I don't know. I can ask our contact at Vitalant and see if he knows. Let me see. I'll text him right now and see if I can get an answer before the meeting's over, so I can answer that. I don't know off the top of my head.
I'm pretty sure you will be able to, because the time has passed, but we shall see.
Yeah, I'll try and get an answer. If not, if you can send us, because it doesn't have your name on there, so I'm not sure who you are. I apologize, but if you can send us an email, I can get back to you if I don't have it by the end of the meeting. So with that, I don't have any other announcements. Those are my 2 main announcements. Obviously, the one I give every week is just COVID is still very much alive and well, so please social distance, wear your mask, all of that fun stuff. We're still seeing high numbers of death in our community, and it's really unfortunate. So please just take every precaution you can so we can start to live more normally with the virus. Let me add these people. With that, unless anybody has any questions or comments before I go into my formal-ish presentation about last night, does anybody have anything they want to say before I go into that?
Any announcements?
You'll have to unmute yourself if you would like to speak. No?
It's a nice office you have there, Lindsay.
Thank you. It actually belongs to a very important man here in Northeast. His name is Dr. Sam Morgan. Very beautiful office.
Wow.
So, okay, well, with that, then I will go ahead and start my brief, like we mentioned in the newsletter today. So, to those of you that don't know, Fort Bliss has a restoration advisory committee which is made up of members of the community that are appointed by the garrison commander. And that committee sees all the projects that Fort Bliss is doing that involve anything with environmental issues. So this board is really critical to Fort Bliss because they're basically the community's input into everything that Fort Bliss is doing with some of their projects. And so I was fortunate enough to be appointed to that board by the garrison commander this past October. And so I'm a very new member, but we held, well, not their first meeting. They've been in the board's been established since 1997, but my first meeting was last night. And so I got some really good information that pertains to Northeast. And so I wanted to share it with you all tonight. So let me see. Sorry, someone's in the chat, so I'm sorry for stopping every now and then. Okay. You guys noticed Angela's not here tonight. It is her husband's birthday, so she asked for the night off. So I'm kind of on my own tonight, so please bear with me. I'm gonna put the link in the chat, Miss Betts, so you can have it. Maybe. Okay. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I'm not going to go through all the slides because the presentation that they gave was very long and it had to do with projects all over the place in Oro Grande, different places. So I'm just going to talk about the ones that have to do with Northeast or areas in the Northeast. I don't know if you all remember in June of 2019, Rep. Morgan and I remember the day very clearly because we were in a council meeting and we got a call that there was some bulldozing and destruction happening in Kastner Range, which, as you all know, Kastner Range is a very big piece of our community, a very important piece of our community, and it is closed to the public. It is not something that can be touched. It's where our beautiful poppies grow. And so we got the call and we were like, what? And so we went out there. I was in a dress and flats. Rep. Morgan was in a suit, and it was the middle of June. It was so hot. And we literally walked, I don't know, how many miles do you think that was, Sam?
More than we should have.
We walked almost through like half of Kastner Range trying to find this destruction to see how we could stop it and what was going on. And so that eventually led to a lot of, I guess a lot of steps were taken. And basically we found out that what had happened is the contractor hired by the Army Corps of Engineers had gone above and beyond what they were supposed to do. The Fort Bliss was planning on doing munitions clearing in the area because, as you all know or should know, there is some live munitions out there. That's why kind of towards the archaeology museum, there's signs that say don't go any further, you could get blown up. And that's because there's still dangerous stuff out there. And so in Fort Bliss starting their project to remove those, the contractor was doing a little bit of clearing so they could use drones to kind of see the ground level a little bit better. And as a result, the contractor did too much. And so basically they ended up clearing more than they were supposed to. We addressed it with the environmental department at Fort Bliss, which it was taken into the Corps of Engineers, which has led to just a lot of contacts being made, but they're in the process of fixing it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to update you on 2 projects, but they both have to do with a similar area of land, and I'm using their presentation. So let me go ahead and go to that so you can see. Actually, there's 3 projects, but one of them isn't on city land. It's on the Franklin Mountain State Park side of it. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, can you all see that?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So this is the presentation that was given to us last night. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I just want to update you guys on what they said. So basically, as I mentioned, in June of 2019, there were some issues because they did some work that they weren't supposed to do. As I mentioned, they were trying to find munitions, evaluate the risk, and see where to go from there. So this kind of goes back. It's about almost 6,000 acres that, and this isn't on Kastner Range, this is a property north of Kastner Range. So for context, this property starts about at the base of the North Hills neighborhood. So if you guys know where North Hills is, this is where that property starts and heads north. So let's see. They obviously broke it down into zones. Here's some examples of the stuff that they found in the state park area. You can see it right here. Obviously that's, you know, they don't know if it's going to blow up, but it could. So that's why they're wanting to do these investigations and then get them removed if possible. So here's where the issue started. I talked about the contractor doing more damage than they were supposed to. As soon as the Army was made aware of it, they you know, reached out to the contractor and stopped work immediately. And then now the Army is in the process of seeing what they can do to fix it. Unfortunately, the damage that was done to vegetation cannot be undone, and it will take that area probably 10, 15, 20 years to recover. And so the Army is trying to see what they can do to kind of restore it, but they made it very clear last night that restoration is probably not an option unless they go out and plant these, you know, bushes and mesquite and all that stuff, which isn't a good solution either because the, you know, it needs to be a more natural state, right? So that's where they are with that. Right now, they're in the process of doing an investigation of their investigation to see what, basically how they can fix it. And so they're still going to be removing the munitions and doing that project, but it's going to take, they probably said until 2024 at this point, just because of the different things happening and how this is all coming together. But on top of that, or because of this rather, they're doing some other projects. And so obviously you guys saw some of the munitions that were found out there, and they want people to know that if they're going to be out there, you know, hiking, biking, walking on the trails, they need to be aware that they could come across something potentially dangerous. And so they are working on a project of sign installation where they're going to put up signs that say, you know, if you come across an ammunition or something like that, ammunition, here's what to do. And I think this would be a great time if you all are interested to join that public meeting, just so you can kind of see what their plans are for that. The garrison commander is very much wanting to have a dialogue with the community and let people, you know, they want to have that relationship between the community and Fort Bliss. So hopefully we can get some people out there and you all can get a chance to voice your opinions or at least just learn about what's going on. Right now they're working on obviously right of entry with the state park because it is the state park. So this one kind of tells you what the sign will kind of look like. Is, you know, they use a 3R method, which is recognize, retreat, and report. And of course, if you ever come across something that looks like any of these, you can call 911 and just let them know. And obviously don't touch it because we don't know what they are or the hazard they have. So this, I don't know if you guys can see the map. I know it's kind of small, but this area in red is the area where they were trying to do the work and the contractor, you know, messed up. This area that's brown down here is actually what's considered Kastner Range. I'm sorry, guys. Let me let this person in. Okay. This one down here is actually Kastner Range, which I'll get to in a little bit. And then, as I mentioned, see, this is the North Hills Neighborhood Association, but North Hills Neighborhood. So they're working on that. And then I don't know if you can see this. I know it's kind of hard to see, but if you can see these little blue boxes, this is where they're wanting to put all the signs. And some of this is on city property. I don't know if you guys can see this little black dashed line that goes across. That is the differentiation between the state property and the city property. And so this is kind of a huge project working with the state, the city, the PSB, and of course the Army, the Corps of Engineers, to place these signs so that you all, when you're out there hiking and biking, are as safe as you possibly can be. So that's that project. And then the last project I want to update you on is actually on Kastner Range. Here's a map of Kastner Range. And they are currently in the feasibility study portion of their work. And because Kastner Range is almost 7,000 acres, or over 7,000 actually, they are breaking it down into different projects. So you'll see these little pink ones, and then the blue is obviously the whole thing. And then there's these little yellow circles and the orange. So the pink ones are the phases of their project. So they have phases 1 through 7. Actually, I think it's 1 through 9. Let me see if I can scroll down a little bit more. Yeah, here we go. So in here, you can see that there's going to be different phases, and this is how they're going to get the ammunitions off of Kastner Range. So obviously you guys know where the Museum of Archaeology is. It's right here, and then the Border Patrol Museum is right next door. And then if you guys have ever been out there, there's a little gazebo and some picnic tables, but there's also little signs that say don't go any further. So Kastner Range is closed to the public. It is, you know, the Army protects it for that reason, but they're wanting to go out and remove these munitions so that maybe in the future it can be open to the public. As you guys know, there's a whole movement to try and get Kastner Range made into a national monument. So hopefully that can happen, and then this can become open to the public. There's also other concerns because obviously Trans Mountain runs through Kastner Range, and you know, people get out of their cars and wander around as they will, and it can cause problems if they come across some of these areas. The areas in pink are their danger areas, and as you can see, the Archaeology Museum sits very close to some of these danger areas, so just please be careful while you're out there, but hopefully in the future that won't be a risk anymore. They're hoping to, in the future, be able to put up more signs in the state park and then also put up a fence around the Archaeology Museum. They're not doing that because they don't want people, you know, being able to go out and have recreation. They just don't want any injuries or anything like that to happen. And so you might be seeing some work in early spring or mid 2021 where they're putting up some fencing along Trans Mountain, and that's going to be the preparation for this project. So it's just so they can remove the munitions, and then once they do that, maybe it'll be open to the public. That'll honestly be a decision that's made by the Army at that time. So that's basically my presentation. I know I did it kind of quick, but that's basically the summary of it. They're going to have public meetings about this because it, you know, opening it up and all of that fun stuff. And so they're anticipating March of 2021. And of course, we'll let you know of those meetings. So if you would like to attend those. So with that, I will open it to any questions that anybody may have. If you want to speak, remember you're muted. You'll have to unmute yourself. No? I know it was kind of boring. It's interesting to me because I'm like a land person, but it might be boring to everybody else.
Well, I don't have a question, but I do have a comment. You know, owning a property in North Hills, I can only say that if you have an opportunity to participate in any of these meetings, especially the closer you live to the mountain, the more important it is. Because even in the developed area up in North Hills, we've had I had neighbors that were installing pools or whatever, and they unearthed mortars. I mean, talking mortars from 50, 60 years ago, and they just come up, you know. So it's actually the whole area, like even the Coin area. We still have to look for munitions, even though it's been built on and settled. But all the stuff outside of the paved area or where the stadium's set, before we develop it, we still have to look for unexploded munitions out there. So it's a legitimate area. Remember, that used to be an impact range. So just be careful and understand that this stuff is still out there, and some of it is still live. So if you get an opportunity to participate, please. join in?
I do have a question.
Sure.
On the map, you were showing where the city owns a lot of that land that's right next to Casner Range.
Mhm.
What is it going to stop the city from continue building or really start building up there since they owned it?
So that's actually a really great question. The good thing about that area above, or I guess north of Castor Range, kind of above North Hills, if you will, has been covered by the TERS, and the TERS protects it from development.
Okay,
So-
but how long is that TERS good for?
So I believe, I don't remember, was that one 50 years or 100 years?
Yeah, it's like 50 years initially, and then it can be, it can be extended.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
What we got to do is just make sure that future councils understand why we did the things that we did, because that was one of the big issues about the 2,400 acre swamp that the environmentalists were concerned about was being able to build all the way up to all the way up to the Franklin Mountains, and that's not going to happen. We'll make sure that we have conditions placed on that into perpetuity. It's probably something I'll be working on over the next 4 years.
Because we don't want something to happen there like what's happened on the west side. That west side had that TERS, and then they overpowered it, and they were able to they're building houses and shopping centers and everything right on the base of the mountain there on the west side.
Yeah.
So we don't want that on that side.
Yeah.
So now, is the Army going to sue this guy for overdoing what he did? Or, are they planning on doing anything to him?
They didn't share that information. That question was asked. They didn't share. They just said that they're in the process of exploring their options. So I would assume that means maybe potentially, but I don't know.
So is this contractor still working and trying to move those munitions?
No, the contractor the contract has been cut, and they are not doing any work at all. So they're not going to start work again, and it will be bid out to a different contractor. That contractor has actually been removed from doing any work for the Army.
Okay.
Mhm.
Or for the government, period. Okay.
So we had I'm sorry, there was a question.
If your rep has to walk out there in a really nice suit, and Lindsay has to go out there in a really nice dress, you can't work in El Paso.
We had a question in the chat. Sorry, guys. I'm at City Hall by myself, and it's a little spooky. So if I keep looking away, it's just me trying not to be distracted by all the ghosts here. So if something happens, please report it to the authorities. Okay. Somebody in the chat asked, how does the TERS protect the land? I thought TERS were development projects. TERS are for development projects. They are tax increment reinvestment zone. However, when the council voted on this particular TERS 13, Rep. Morgan made it a point to let them know that this land should be covered in it so that it's part of the TERS, but that I don't have that map with me, so I'm sorry, I'm kind of going off the top of my head, but if this is the TERS, there's a line that's drawn and all of it's covered, but this part cannot be developed. So it will still benefit from okay, let's say that a development occurs on this side of that line, it's going to get a tax benefit, and the money that goes into that TERS can be used to beautify the area or anything. So let's say later on this side that's protected, they want to put new signage that says, you're now in the state park, or, watch out for rattlesnakes. They'll be able to use that funding to pay for something like that. But that's the only kind of development that could occur on that land, because inside of the TERS, it is protected. I hope that makes sense.
It sounds like it is back-ass words of, yeah, we'll give it to you, but in the back they're saying, go ahead and take it away, and I don't feel comfortable with that,
Mm-hmm.
Because we've had other lands that was in the TERS, and, representatives have changed, and it'd be great if Sam could be there forever. However, It's not going to happen. So what is our next representative going to do? Is he going to go ahead and let that go? That's what I'm concerned about. How can we really protect it to where nobody can do anything with it, no matter what?
Yeah, and that's a good point. I think also on top of that, there's a certain point that that land starts belonging to the state. And so I've been reassured that everything that's built in North Hills is about as far as they can go up the mountain. They can't build any further up without there being huge just issues with development, in terms of how development works. I think you have a very valid concern, but I don't think it could ever be developed just because of the terrain. But there is that protection, and I know it's not, 100% a solid protection, but I mean, it's a good question. How do we make sure that future reps, because Rep Morgan can only do this for 8 years max, and so how do we ensure that they have that same vision? And I think that comes back to making sure that people are elected that understand the value that the land has to El Paso and the Northeast.
That's like that piece of property, and I guess is part of this land that we're talking about, where the Border Patrol was built.
Mm-hmm.
I understood that one of the laws from years ago was that nobody can build below that mountain anywhere. And how did Border Patrol get in there? I have no idea, but I know they're talking about wanting to build more on that base, and a coalition started up and fought against it. But what is it going to stop from that happening?
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know the history of the Border Patrol Museum, but I do know it sits inside of closed Castner Range.
Not the museum, the actual Border Patrol off of Hunter Pass.
Okay.
That one. And they're building up against that.
Yeah, that's right outside.
It's all still federal land. Remember that. Yeah. And Fort Bliss has a lot to do with that. But Fort Bliss is actually coming into the 21st century and understanding conservation. Hence why, they have been very supportive of turning Castner Range into a national monument. And folks like Dr. Teschner and, other folks have been really fighting for that. Even Beto O'Rourke has done some things to stop any further development. And the Border Patrol, the extension that they did was already within the confines of the footprint that they had already established. And a lot of people thought that it was new. It wasn't. It was already within the footprint. When we were doing when we had the migrant issue, that wasn't new development. That was already within the footprint. They just haven't developed it all yet, Beth.
Oh, geez. Okay.
And I don't think they're going to, but we can work with that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right. Were there any other questions, comments?
Yeah, I just have
one tonight, man. What's going on?
I just have one where that contractor, did he destroy anything with the poppies? Was he in an area where the poppies got destroyed?
No.
So, I mean, at the time that this happened, it wasn't poppy season. But no, so this area
was north of Upper North Hills, north of Upper North Hills. If it was south of, then it would have definitely endangered the poppies.
Do you guys know where the Roundhouse Trailhead is?
Yeah.
It's off of far north MLK, Roundhouse.
Oh, okay. Because the poppies this year really spread out all over the mountains. Oh my God, it was beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it went way north and it, did go south. I mean, it was just gorgeous going up the mountains as well. So that's what I was concerned about.
Yeah, so they weren't in that area. They were way further north. But we did talk about the poppies last night because we were talking about the beautiful bloom that we had this year. And the Archaeology Museum said that they were counting people coming out to see them. They had over 22,000 people come out to see the poppies, which is actually problematic because people pick the poppies, which is illegal. People go and stomp all over them so they can take an Instagram photo. And they're also on government land that's closed to the public. So we talked about that last night because we can't say, look at these beautiful poppies behind me while we're stomping all over them to take pictures with them. You know what I mean? And so the Army and the garrison commander were very concerned also because there's a possibility that you could get hurt out there because you're not supposed to be out there because there's munitions and stuff. So they were very much concerned about that, saying, you know, it's great that we had people coming out to the Northeast, but it could have led to somebody getting seriously hurt. So they're looking at ways through this munitions clearing process to be able to open it in a safe way that doesn't harm the poppies and that doesn't harm the people for future blooms, because this year's bloom was, like you said, Beth, it was tremendous. It was incredible. I don't know if you guys got a chance to go out and see it, but
I took pictures and I sent it to my daughter in Erie, Pennsylvania, and oh my God, she thought they were just gorgeous. But there are some poppies growing on some property on Yvette Street. There's 2 houses there on Yvette where the poppies are growing like crazy in their yard.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. I don't know if you guys knew this, but it's actually illegal to get rid of poppies or pull them or do anything. I don't know if you guys knew that. They're a protected species. So if you've ever done that, just don't say anything and don't do it again.
And don't smoke it.
Exactly. I wasn't going to go there, but I'm glad you mentioned it. So yeah. Was there any other questions or comments? All right. I know Miss Debbie is here. She is our honorary District 4 constituent. And she has all this time, if you guys have been to our meetings before, she always updates us on the census. And so she has a little bit of an update. Obviously, you guys know that the census already ended and they're counting everybody up. So she has a couple of updates for you all. So I'm going to hand it over to her and she can give some quick little statistics or updates, whatever she has.
Thank you, Lindsay. I actually do. I even have some PowerPoint slides because it's really neat data that shows where El Paso placed statewide and even nationally. So
Awesome.
if I click on Open Share Tray, will I be able to share my presentation?
You should be able to. Once you click that, it will bring up everything you have open and then you can just click on whatever presentation it is that you're wanting to share.
Okay, and so my presentation needs to already be open, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, hold on just a second.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to click on Open Share Tray, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know why it's showing that, but
We still can't see anything.
okay. Let's see. Let me try it again.
Okay.
Do I just I click on Open Share Tray first?
Yes, and then it should bring up a little menu that shows everything you have open.
Okay, desktop.
And then you can just click whichever thing you want to show us. If that doesn't work, you can, if you want really quick, email them to me and I can share them for you.
Okay.
We can do it that way. In the meantime, while she emails those to me, does anybody else have any questions, comments, concerns?
So we have Renee Leon on here. Renee, you have anything that help us out with what's going on within the water district? Guess not.
He's a ghost.
Well, first of all, I want to thank while she's doing that, I want to thank all of y'all for, being involved with El Paso. Someone was sending me some statistics earlier today showing that we had roughly 39,000 people come out to vote, which is about 8,000 more people than we had participate in the election in 2017. So we're getting better about getting people out to the polls. Absentee ballots, people are actually using them. But I want to thank you guys for all going out there and, making your voices heard, through your vote. Well, we have one more day to get you guys there. All right, looks like Lindsay has the presentation.
I think Miss Debbie was able to share it, so we'll.
Okay,
so
great.
Okay, so can everybody hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the actual Complete Count Committee was named the Paso del Norte Complete Count Committee. And what you see at the top of the screen is the logo and the brand that we used for it, Together Fearless We Count and Juntos con Confianza Contamos. So the basic outreach plan was to close the undercount gap by empowering residents to come together and stand up for what was at stake, and to focus specifically, not only, but primarily on Spanish dominant low-income residents. And the numbers that you're seeing will be representing not just the city of El Paso, but the county of El Paso. So this just gives you an idea of some of the strategies that were used. The digital, which included the data-driven communications, the mobile ads, the text messages that were done, then the traditional TV, radio, print, PSAs, and PR. And I'm sure a lot of you all probably saw these either on email or on Facebook or even on television. And so then also the other component was reaching out through events in the city and partnering with different organizations, nonprofits, education, of course, the city and the county, to be able to get this message out continuously, because it wasn't just a one-time thing or a few times, it was an ongoing thing. This whole organizational campaign was started, I guess, right about 2 years ago. So it's something that needs to be built up gradually, and you really have to do a lot of planning early on to make sure that everything is in place. So this gives you an idea of what kind of media was done. Over 1,600 radio spots, 917 TV spots, 250 PSAs, and 102 press articles. 45,000 parents were reached via text. Our partnership with the school districts in the county were one of the most critical partnerships and important partnerships, and also Region 19, because this was the way that we were able to get the message out at the very ground level, which was working with parents, working with students. Of course, there was a big pivot after, COVID happened, but it was just, requiring kind of a shift of strategy and how they were going to do it. But the reaching out to the parents was very critical. So this number represents the amount of money that was invested by different entities here in the county. El Paso County, City of El Paso, foundations and donors, Rio Grande Council of Governments. So it was a total investment, more or less, of $936,000. So it was a lot of money that was invested in this because of what was at stake, at getting the maximum count, the very best count we could, because of the implications of what that would mean for state and federal dollars for our area. So these statistics are really, I think, impressive. 60% City of El Paso had a 68.1% response rate. It surpassed the national response rate of 67%. It surpassed the El Paso County response rate of 66.8, and it surpassed the state response rate, self-response rate, which was 62.8. So I think that's pretty good. I think we should pat ourselves on the back for, you know, being out there and really being able to show up in an awesome way. This is self-response rates by city. El Paso had 68.1 against Austin, which was 67.2. San Antonio, which was 65.6. Dallas, which was 59. I mean, I think that's so awesome that we beat them out. And Houston, which is 58.9. So once again, a pat on the back to El Paso for really going after it. This is self-response rates by county. In this case, El Paso placed third. Travis County was 67.3 and Bexar County 67. And then, of course, Dallas County 63 and 62. Here is a comparison of cities. Washington, DC, Boston, El Paso, Nashville, and Detroit, Michigan. And you'll see that El Paso had a self-response rate of 68.1%, and this actually beat out all these other cities here, which I think is pretty impressive. And then this is a map that shows the response rate by color. And, you know, I don't know how well the map is showing up there, but you can pretty well see that some of the areas, the outlying areas, were some of the challenges that represent some of the challenges we had. Also, Fort Bliss was not as high as we wanted it to be, but you know, next time around, I think we will strategize a little differently with Fort Bliss, and you know, rely on some of the folks like Representative Morgan, who has a relationship with Fort Bliss, to be able to dialogue with them as to the importance, and so that there can be some activity to motivate the Fort Bliss folks. And so that concludes my very short presentation. Are there any questions?
That was great information, Debbie. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Very good. It was a lot, we did a lot better than I thought we were doing. You know, I was concerned about that, but those numbers didn't seem too bad considered when you look at Texas as a whole and nationally. Not too shabby.
Yeah, I was impressed myself with that data. I think we did good, and of course, lessons learned from this first one that we did. As I don't remember the city and county coming together in this form and fashion 10 years back. So lesson learned from this one, and you know, regrouping and establishing best practices, I think we'll do even better next time around.
Yeah. I'm going to have to agree with you on that. I think overall we did good, but we definitely know the Northeast did well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for that presentation.
Sure.
Is there anyone else out there have any announcements that they want to share with the community?
I did get an answer to the question about the blood drive. I put it in the chat, but in case anybody doesn't have access to the chat, somebody had asked if they lived in Germany during the mad cow scare, if they could donate, and the gentleman from Vitalant just let me know that if you lived in Germany anytime from 1980 to 1996, you cannot donate blood. So Thank you so much for those of you that wanted to, but I don't make the rules. I'm sad, but I'm also happy. I'm hoping so far, nobody else is here. I don't know why I was going to whisper that, but so far, our district has the most signups. So yay us. The next highest number was, or right now we have 13 signups, but we also have a couple people that said they would walk up. So I'm really confident that we're going to get at least 20 people out there. Repanello got 12, but we're going to beat her because District 4 is better than District 2. No offense if you live in District 2. But no, in all seriousness, I think it's great. I'm kind of competitive about this, but I think it's good because this is blood that's going to come back into our community and is much needed. So I will be donating blood. Rep Morgan, I forced him into it. So he will be donating blood, and Angela will also be donating blood. So we'd love to see you all out there, if you can, per the requirements.
If you want that nice mask, show them again. There you go.
Let me take it out of the, because this one's mine. I haven't donated yet, but I'm claiming it as my own. Let me mute my thing so you don't have to hear the plot. Okay, can you guys see it? So it has EP Texas, and then it has the Winterfest logo on the other side, and it looks like a little candy cane. And these are really cool because they have, I'm a mask seller now. They're really cool because they're cloth, but it has the metal nose strip, so you can form it to your nose. I don't know if you guys can see it's formed. And then it also comes with a filter and a little pocket, so you can put the filter in the pocket for extra protection. So come out and get your mask. To the person who can't donate because you lived in Germany, we can talk offline. Since you had intent to donate, I could probably surrender one of these. But
we just want a pound of flesh instead of blood.
So yeah. I'm not trying to say it's a really good gift, but y'all should come out. We're also going to give away candy, so I don't know if candy entices you at all. And Germex. Okay, I'm done.
All right, we're right at an hour and a minute. As usual, thank you guys so much for what you do for our community. So many of you volunteer so much of your precious time. You're not being compensated for it. And that's what I love about, this job, is that I get to meet folks like you all, Debbie, you give so much to the community, it's wild, And then Beth, you're always keeping me informed of what's going on in the Northeast. You guys, I appreciate it. Ralph, we always see you at our meetings, always Mr. Quiet, but when you speak, it's very profound, and I appreciate it. All of you all give us some great insight as to what's going on, and that's what we need to continue, guys. Your representative is not a savior. A representative is just a person who speaks with one voice for the community. And that's why these meetings are so important. And that's why these meetings have to continue. Yeah, it's the age of COVID, but we figured out a way to fire them back up. Now that everyone's been introduced to technology, even after COVID, I really believe that it's just going to help our community be better, because we're going to be able to communicate in more mediums than just meeting in person, because that is not the most efficient way to get information out. But I think it should be a combination of technology as well as in-person meetings. We're looking forward to, once this COVID breaks, doing a state of the Northeast, because we got a lot of things that are coming up in the next 2 to 3 years. Angora Loop, 100% fully funded, and it will be done. It will be built out by 2023. So we're looking at 2 years from now. And as you all know, 2 years is just a blink of an eye. And we're going to be able to connect the entire community, which is going to impact our economic growth and our economic development. Developers are very interested. They're waiting with bated breath to see how this project turns out, because this is the catalyst that we need to spur true economic development in the Northeast. We don't ever want to get to the point to where we're, all crowded up like the East Side or the West Side, but we still need to grow and we still need to develop, but we need to do it smartly, okay? And that's my focus, is making sure that whatever we do is good for the community and it's going to be long lasting and it's not going to put us in a position where, no one wants to be out here anymore. I love being in the Northeast because it is open. We do have access to things that other parts of town just don't have. We're right up against the mountain. We have these trailheads. We have all this hiking, and we have the beautiful mountain vistas. So let's take care of it. So thank you guys for everything that you do for the community. Thank you for everything that you do for myself and Lindsay. You guys are really good at keeping us informed. And, please, the next meeting we have, I will be reelected and we can get on with the getting on. Make sure people go vote this Saturday, okay?
I would like to stay employed, so please go vote.
Yeah, Lindsay loses her job if I lose mine. And she won't work for the guy who wins other than me. All right.
So with that, though, thank you all for joining us so much. We appreciate you. Don't forget to go vote on Saturday. And yeah, I think that's basically it. Unless anybody else has any other questions, comments, concerns, and we'll wrap it on up.
Lindsay, did you find out what exactly they're building, where they tore down the gas station there at Walmart in Trans Mountain?
Well, sorry, my brain just went through a whole map of the Northeast. I'm sorry, all that glitch for a second. Walmart, no, I have not. I didn't find any permits pulled for that one, so I don't know at this point.
Okay.
We don't have access to all the permits, but just so you know, rumor has it it's going to be a Circle K. At least that's what I'm hearing, but we haven't been able to prove that with the permits. And right there at Marcus Uribe and Sean Haggerty, everyone's been asking us about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be a Burger King.
Yep.
So, like I said, we get rumors just like you guys get, but Circle K apparently bought out Diamond Shamrock. And if you notice over off of Dyer and Angora Loop, they built a Circle K right across the street. So they took an older one, shut it down, and built a new, bigger, more modern one. That's what I'm hearing is going to go there. But until we see the actual permits, we can speculate like everyone else.
That reminds me, I don't know if she's on here. There was a lady that called this afternoon in reference to that property that's going to be a Burger King, Sean Haggerty and Marcus Uribe. She had asked me if we could have some sort of community meeting or something, to let the community know that we what's going on. So I just want to let you guys know to please tell your friends and family that we're here every week. Rhett Morgan's been in office for 3.5 years, and people still don't know that we meet every week, because she was like, we never hear from you. We don't know what's going on. So please, please, please share this information. We can't make people attend, but the opportunity is available, and we'd love to have more people. We always have a solid 12 to 15, so I appreciate you guys for that, but the district is 112,000 people. So we'd love to see more people out here. So please tell your friends and family that this meeting does occur. It is a thing. We're here every week. Most of you guys know that because you're here with us. I don't know if she was able to join us. Hopefully she was, and she can join us for more meetings. But yeah, we do get some calls that people are like, you're never doing anything. We're never in the community. And I'm like, okay. So, but yeah, with that, I guess, thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Next week is our last meeting of the year. So 2020 will come to an end soon. So prepare yourselves for that, because I'm not prepared for that, because I'm still in March. So, yeah.
Stay safe.
Wear your masks, wash your hands, and come donate blood tomorrow, and then vote on Saturday. All right. Bye, everyone.
Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.